This episode of The Reasons I'm Broke is brought to you by Audible.
Sign up today and get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
There's over 150,000 titles to choose from, all available on your Android device, Kindle, and iPhone.
Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome to the most amazing podcast you will ever hear in your entire life. Is that what I'm supposed to say? You think they believed it?
I'm sure someone out there believed it.
Good. The way we format our show is first we start out with some news, again ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week.
And this is actually a mid-MegaCon episode coverage thing. So MegaCon's going to get 2 episodes of coverage. As of right now, this is Saturday night. We went to MegaCon yesterday, and then I'll be going to MegaCon tomorrow. But more on that later on. First, we're going to cover the news. First one being, we actually saw the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods movie.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised at this movie.
Yes, me too.
It started out like I was like, oh, I don't know that I like this, but by the end, totally won me over.
It seemed like a Dragon Ball episode or a Dragon Ball movie at first, like you were saying. It does take a little bit for it to pick up, but it actually was pleasant throughout. Like it's a very nice change of pace with the villain. The way they handled it, the way the villain looks, all of it is vastly different than what you saw in Broly or Cell or even Frieza. So this is something that they did brand new to the series as they introduced new elements to the Saiyan characters as well. And just throughout it, it feels like you're right back in the Dragon Ball Z universe. And I'm happy to say that I'm really excited to see more of these movies, as you do see that some more villains do stem out of this one film. Not to spoil what happens, but we are going to see more of it, and I can't wait.
Yep, I was completely in love. Like you said, it did feel like Dragon Ball, because everybody was kind of real silly, and that kind of threw me off. But, it all just fell into a pace. Everybody got their moment, so if you have a favorite character that may not be Goku or Vegeta, everybody has their moment. You get to see everybody and just laugh at them, and they're so much fun. And Vegeta was my favorite character.
Wonderful. Vegeta was great.
He was wonderful.
He had a spotlight. Mr. Popo did not make one appearance.
Because
I was very sad.
He was doing better shit.
What was Mr. Popo doing?
He didn't have time to be dealing with, people destroying the world nonsense. That doesn't even matter to him. There were, people destroying the universe, and it was probably him. Someone's probably trying to stop him from destroying the universe.
So well done, the team at Dragon Ball Z, Akira Toriyama, all of them. This movie ignores Dragon Ball GT, so if you at all didn't like GT and you just enjoyed Dragon Ball Z, rest assured you can kind of settle right back into the old voice actors, the old cast of characters, but it still feels new at the same time because you're now introducing a whole new world of possibilities with what a Saiyan can actually achieve and what levels they can reach when it comes to none of the Super Saiyan 4 nonsense. This is a whole different thing.
All that Saiyan nonsense, nobody cares about that though. I am concerned about the Vegeta Bulma love story, which was all over the place in this.
Hopefully we'll get more Vegeta transformations and action in the next movie.
No, more Vegeta Bulma love story. There should just be a Vegeta Bulma movie. Instead, I have to settle with fan fiction.
Well, that's why fan fiction exists.
I know, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. Overall, I definitely recommend this movie. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, check it out.
Lego really dropped a bomb this week.
Yeah.
This is our video game news for today. They announced Lego Dimensions.
This is a new video game. The starter pack starts at $99.99.
First, let's go over the trailer that we saw.
Yeah.
One of the characters, I want to say it's from Parks and Recreation. I recognize him from a show.
No. He's from The Soup.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He is from The Soup. He is the host on there. I've never seen him.
I don't know his name.
But he brings these Lego characters back to life using a portal. So from the get-go, I immediately know this is their answer to Nintendo's Amiibos, to the Skylanders, to Disney Infinity. Yep. Lego is now getting into it because there is tons of money to be made, clearly, because they haven't quite reached that point yet where they've put too much of this out in the market. And with Lego, they've got the same type of concept. Like you said, there is a starter pack that is $100. This is a video game that will come out to current gen systems as well as last gen systems. So this is going to be a huge holiday seller for the Lego games. And I think they've proven that they can actually make some really solid games. The Lego Batman being our favorite. The Lego Marvel was really good as well.
Lego Harry Potter was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So what do you get with the starter pack to Lego Dimensions?
So first off, you get the Lego Toy Pad, which is what you would actually put your amiibo, your characters onto. You get Batman. And then what else do you need?
That's all you need.
$100. So you get Batman, you get Gandalf, you get Wild Style, who was the character from the Lego movie. Lucy was also her name. You get the Batmobile. Again, done. What else do you... Oh, and a copy of the game.
Yeah, the Batmobile. So you can have vehicles as part of your...
That's awesome.
Your portal thing, all of that.
You want to know what I would do with this right here if I were Lego?
What?
I would put... Because really, how much does it cost them to make the little chip reader thing?
Probably not much, and the figurines themselves don't cost that, because I'm assuming these are just Lego figures that they, glue so that you can't take them apart.
Right.
And then they put them on a little chip reader.
Right. So what I would do if I were them is include these chips in my actual Lego sets for like $5 more. So if you already have the game and then you go out and purchase a legit Lego set and then build it and then you could put it on the thing, awesome. Or maybe you just like the Lego set and you're not even going to use it for the game, but I still charged you $5 extra to have this little chip that cost me 25 cents. I'm so smart. Why don't I make these things?
You should. And the pieces themselves actually look really good next to any other Lego toys or figurines that you may have. So it's not like the other, the competitors like the Skylanders, where there's just a standalone toy or figurine. Instead, they fit with everything else that you've had for years if you are a Lego collector at all.
So the players will be able to mix and match characters from many franchises, including DC Comics. And what else do you need? DC Comics, Back to the Future, The Wizard of Oz, Lord of the Rings, and many more. This is so brilliant.
And according to the trailer and the press release, this is the first time in which they actually mix the, let's say you're Gandalf and you could ride the Batmobile.
That's so cool.
Or Marty McFly.
And you can ride the Batmobile.
And you can ride the Batmobile. They all want to ride the Batmobile. That's all this was, an excuse for. Of course they do. So they've got so many franchises that they can put together. Lego Movie being a huge one. They've got a sequel to that one coming out soon too. So you can just imagine all the different sets. There'll be a Gotham City set. There's going to be the Back to the Future one, Metropolis, Watchtower set, where you can go to the Watchtower playing as Marty McFly and defeating missions. So the difference here between this set and like the Disney Infinity is, for those games you have to have a specific character to do those levels. But with Lego Dimensions, you can mix and match any character with the vehicles and defeat the worlds.
You can't lose with this. This is so smart. Lego is so big right now, and like I said, you mix it in with the sets that people are already purchasing, and you have a winning combination. Whoever came up with this idea, give them an Oscar.
I will have to... Why an Oscar?
Just because that seems like a big award.
Not a Nobel Prize.
No, just an Oscar. We give everybody Oscars for things.
I'm not going to lie. I'm actually going to pass on this because I know it's going to be a very expensive hobby.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
It's going to be one... I don't want to get sucked into the thing where, okay, well now I want to play the next level to Lego Dimensions, so let me buy this $40 set. So now the game's $140. Now I want to get this next set, so now it's another $30 or $40. I really don't want to get trapped in that. When I used to work at GameStop, I saw people hunting the sets down, the figurines, the game, and they were quickly racking up some money in those games. And this is exactly why Lego's doing it. I really don't want to get suckered into it. If you're into all the figurines and if you can afford that, great. This looks like an amazing game, and Lego has put out good games.
You know what this is going to be great for is families with a lot of kids, though.
Right.
Because each kid, you get them a little $20 figure, and they can mix and match for all their levels. And now they have hours of entertainment where you don't have to see those little shits.
And also you're going to see like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mixing up with the Batman characters. So all these different cartoons and franchises. That alone, I think, is probably the hardest thing for me to be like, I I might want to get this game just so I can see Michelangelo and Batman fighting together to defeat whatever, or Donatello.
Or Snape.
Snape
That
would
and
be
Batman.
Awesome.
Oh,
that'd
perfect.
be cool. Maybe I'll get it at a discounted rate when it's a Black Friday sale, like 2 years from now when the game's already old and there's a Lego Dimensions 2 already announced. Maybe I'll get it then. But for now, it's not something that I'm able to afford. Reasons I'm broke.
Yeah.
Can't buy that thing.
There's a lot of reasons we're broke. Next, we're going to move into our comic book news before we get into some television news. IDW, CBS Consumer Services, and DC Entertainment have teamed up for the release of a 6-part miniseries called Star Trek/Green Lantern: The Spectrum War.
That is a team up I did not expect to see.
Me either.
We've seen crazy crossovers in comics before. This isn't a brand new thing, but it's not very common anymore. Like, you do see more in the independent side where they will do, like, Star Trek Planet of the Apes is the more recent one.
Really?
And Archie versus Predator, which we're getting... You haven't seen that?
No.
Yeah, Archie versus Predator. It looks hilarious.
Sounds great.
We're actually getting issue 2 because Dustin Nguyen does the cover to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, I'll collect his art. Why not? I know you'll like it too, no matter how it looks. And it is a cool cover. But for DC to cross over with something else doesn't happen very often. So when I saw that Green Lantern and Star Trek were going to be a team, it makes sense. They're both in space and they can both tell great stories. And it looks like they're going to have the current cast of Star Trek from the current set of movies cross over into the DC universe.
Aw, no Captain Picard.
That's what I wanted. I wanted
That
Next Gen
great.
with Green Lantern, but people aren't really asking for Next Gen right now.
It should have been Voyager, and then Sinestro could have seduced Janeway.
Would Janeway actually be seduced, though? She's pretty...
This is Sinestro.
Who's going to resist him?
Really? Batman's probably the only person who could resist
Superman
Sinestro.
could resist Sinestro.
Only because he has a thing for Batman.
Exactly. See?
Okay, then.
So we got the writer, who is Mike Johnson, veteran Star Trek writer, and the art is by Angel Hernandez.
So Greg Goldstein, the IDW president, had this to say. Star Trek and Green Lantern both share so many of the same science fiction adventure themes and ideals that a galaxy-spanning crossover like this is simply logical. Oh, you big nerd.
You rich big nerd. IDW president. I saw the cover, one of the covers to it, and it has a Klingon with a Sinestro ring. So I think we will see, obviously we'll see Sinestro in it if you see the Sinestro Corps running around. I'm very interested in reading this.
Me as well.
So we'll probably give it a shot, especially if it's a miniseries, 6 issues, why not?
I think there's a lot of great things that could be done with this crossover. Star Trek already had such an expansive storyline and so many things that the characters did, and this is just adding another element to it of something that has that same kind of history and richness. And if done right, they're going to blow it out of the water. Leaders
like Hal Jordan and Kirk have such strong personalities, you know they're going to fight right away.
They can just be seducing ladies all over the place. That's all they do is pick up chicks.
Not Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan picks up some chicks.
No, he does not.
I'm pretty sure in the animated series he was picking up some chicks.
Only that pink, you know, the
Pink Lanterns? Violet, what? The Love Lanterns.
It's not Indigo. It's Sapphire. The Star Sapphires.
Yeah. He probably picks up a lot of chicks, though. He strikes me as the type.
Well, maybe they'll both pick up chicks, but yeah, we'll give it a shot. We're excited. Star Trek Green Lantern. I want to say it's coming in July, so it should be in the next previews catalog. If you have a subscription at a comic book shop, you'll be able to add it by then. Mm-hmm. So you did mention TV news. Big one. It just debuted this weekend. The entire season, I think it's 13 episodes, and that is Daredevil, a Netflix exclusive show. You can see it right now. It is on Netflix, on your personal device, on your television, every single episode. And we have our thoughts. We're 5 episodes in.
Yes. For the first 5 episodes, I'm kind of enjoying it. Not as much as I have some other things. I like the opening.
If you haven't seen it yet, we put up a video on Instagram of Kelli actually dancing to the Daredevil theme song. It's pretty awesome, because that would be a better opening.
It would be a great opening.
Opening's kind of dull, but as far as the show, I gotta be honest, this is gonna be spoiler free for the most part. Matt Murdock, his partner, I don't think they're interesting characters. Foggy?
His name's Foggy.
they didn't catch my attention. So the first 2 episodes, I'm like, okay, well, this is all right. But then you got the action scenes and the stunt work and the choreography, the directing. There's so many really nice shots where I'm like, oh, they got really fucking creative with what they were doing, but and not too much where it distracts you from the episode and the story. There's one fight scene at the end of episode 2 where it is almost like, I mean, there's 2 cuts in between there, but it is put together as if it's one long fighting scene, similar to Oldboy, where they have that fight in the hallway when he's running out there, and it's just like a 5-minute fight scene. There is something like that in the episode 2 of Daredevil. So it's those moments like that kept me going through the show. And then they introduced the fucking Kingpin. When they put Wilson in, and the way they handled him, I'm like, this is what I'm watching this for. That's how you know I'm a fucking DC fan, because of the villains. And in this case, Marvel pulled it off with the Kingpin. That is all I'm interested in now. Like, the Daredevil fighting scene's cool. Everything else is set up really nicely. But as far as characters and story, I'm hooked with Wilson.
You were, because we were watching a particular scene with him in it, and he was trying to win over a lady. I don't think that's spoiling. Is that spoiling?
It's no.
It's a very not important spoiler. And something happens, and I went, oh, I'm seduced. And Daniel goes, I'm seduced too. So yes, Kingpin is definitely my favorite character. I do like Matt Murdock and what they're doing with him and his partner, not Foggy partner, the Hispanic partner.
Oh, you're talking about Dawson? Rosario Dawson?
Yes, her. I like what they're doing with them, and I think that's going to be good and bad. We'll see how the rest of the series goes. For the most part, it didn't really hold my attention. I don't know much about the character to begin with. Mm-hmm. And there were some parts that I really liked, but having not been a Daredevil fan prior to this, I feel like they're setting it up well, but some parts are a little bit slow. And so I'd go on my Pinterest and look at things, and then I'd come back and watch some more, and then I'd dance to the opening, and then I'd go back and do other things. So it's more of a fun to have on in the background show for me.
Yeah, it doesn't hold... Some of the scenes do drag on a little bit. I think in the first episode there was one where I'm like, why aren't they cutting? Why is the scene still going? And there's stuff like that, and you're absolutely right. But I think because of the way it's shot and because of the character like the Kingpin, that's why we're continuing with the series, and we are going to finish it. One of my coworkers told me today is... He's like, well, this is the way the characters are, and this is the way they are in the comics. And I was like, right, that's cool. But a good show stands well on its own.
Right.
I'm sure it helps, a personal comic book reader to know what these characters are like in the books and what their history is. But you should be able to craft something like a movie or a television show and enjoy it just fine or even better if you don't, without knowing the previous characters. Because if you have to rely on the source material, then it's not really a good show. And I'm not saying that it is relying on it, but that's one thing he told me, that you needed to know the characters.
Right, you can appreciate it more if you know the characters, but that doesn't really help those of us who are trying to get into it and don't already have a background with them. Like, they introduced that detective guy, and I don't care.
Hello, not Bullock.
and I'm sure that, and Miss Page, and, I'm sure that they have a very rich history and they're very important in the Daredevil story, but I don't care. I'm just like, go back to Kingpin. Let me see what he's doing.
Yes. So out of the 3 Marvel shows, go ahead and rank them. We got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, and now Daredevil.
Agent Carter, number 1.
Okay, I agree with that.
Daredevil, number 2. And Poopers of S.H.I.E.L.D., number 3.
Someone's like, it's better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, that's not difficult to do.
That's not saying a lot.
But I think Constantine still remains our favorite of the superhero television shows.
I feel like the opening of this is trying to steal Constantine, though.
They're similar.
They're very similar.
It's also similar to a GoldenEye open era James Bond opening.
No,
I don't think they're trying to steal
Constantine took it first. Except Constantine spooks me out during their opening. This one makes me dance with bananas.
It does. So I'm going to say Daredevil wins that opening.
No, Constantine. Because it's less work for me.
That's your bias showing. Let us know what you thought of Daredevil and how you're enjoying it. You can tell us on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke or on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
We want to give a big shout out this week to @John72Texas review on iTunes. He said, Daniel and Kelli share their passion for comics, video games, and collectibles with a gleeful voice.
Thank you so much, John. He's always interacting with us on Twitter and on Facebook, and he left us a review. It takes a couple minutes. Go on iTunes, on Stitcher, any one of those places. Leave us a short review. Let us know what you think. And it does help other Brokettes find us. It helps us on the iTunes charts. That's why it's so important. And again, it doesn't cost you anything, just 2 minutes. And it helps us out for as long as the review's up there, which is hopefully forever. So thank you so much at John72Tex.
And if any of the rest of you want to leave us a review, we will absolutely read it on the podcast next week.
Here is the big one.
Woo!
Our favorite convention of all.
Yes.
Than all the ones we've been to. And that is MegaCon.
You didn't say it right.
How do I say it?
MegaCon!
Our MegaCon coverage. First off, we do want to thank MegaCon for providing us with the press passes. We're going to run down our Friday and all the funny things that happened, all the creators we met, and the cool stuff we got.
Mm-hmm.
I think the funniest bit to all of this, our entire day at Friday, was when we were going in, we got our press badges, Kelli and I.
This is magical.
And we were going in to stand in line for an hour and a half until they actually opened up the show for Friday. Because it opened up at noon, and we got there, at 10:30? Right around there?
By the time we got our badges, yeah, it was about 10:30.
So we're going through where they're checking the people's wristbands, in our case, the press passes. And they're like, the lady checking them, she's like, no, press entrance is over there. And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's a different guy probably checks that and checks us off on a list or something. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, go on through. All right, cool. So we go in, and we look around, and we realize we're actually in Artist Alley at that point. We're like, oh, shit, we're inside the convention right now. This is crazy. It was such an awesome moment.
It took me like a minute to process, too, because I'm like, okay, so where do we wait now before they let us actually, like, walk around?
And then we see people setting up their booths, and, like, over here someone's vacuuming, and they're getting, cleaning the place up to making it look awesome like it always does every year. And that's when we're like, okay, we can actually walk around the convention beforehand and check it out. So yeah, it was awesome. We checked out all the different merchandise that they had. We Love Fine wasn't there this year.
I know, I'm so sad.
But we did have different shops. We had Coliseum of Comics there, of course. We had the Artist Alley was 2 rows this year instead of I think it was 3 last year, but it was in a smaller space.
No, it was still a lot of rows. Because you had 1, 2... It was at least 3 rows.
That's what I'm saying. Last year it was 3 or 4 rows. This year it was 2, but the 2 were longer this time. Mm-hmm. So you can pretty much go down one side of the con and go down the other to check out all of Artist Alley instead of having to go down a couple of different aisles. I thought it was well organized, and there was enough space to where everyone could move around and shop. It felt
really big. I love the different showroom that they used this year because I remember especially Saturday when we got there, you couldn't move.
Right.
And even on Friday, even though there were less people than we had this past Friday, it still felt very cramped. Mm-hmm. But I loved it, especially when we were in there with nobody. I was just like, this is magic. Like, I'm just going to take a nap on the floor and there's still room.
They also had a different entrance for everyone. You can actually, last year they had everyone go up the escalators. So it was a very slow process to get people into the convention. But this time you have the escalators to go upstairs, and you have the regular stairs as well. So people got in and out of the con much easier and much quicker. And also they had enough space on the outside where the cosplayers can go there. They can take their pictures without having to block everyone else's way.
Without being in everybody's way with their dumb costumes.
That's what I make it sound like, don't I?
Yeah.
But everyone had their own dedicated space, and I thought that's why it worked. Mm-hmm. They even had the food court area conveniently right there also, not just inside the convention, but outside.
Oh, yeah, with coffee.
Great hangout area, great little stands.
Well, it was even better, because we were at that one food court place where I got coffee, and there was, hot dogs in little carts outside, but then if you went back down the escalators and to the left, there was, a whole nother food court. So it really spaced people out really well and gave them a lot of different options that I felt that we didn't have last year.
One of the funnier moments before the actual con opened was when we walked down the entrance where they let people in, and it's just a sea of people watching me as I'm just walking by with my bag, looking around. And
I joked because Daniel's siblings were waiting in that line because we didn't expect to be able to go in before them, so it was let's all go together and get there early and And I was joking that once they actually opened the doors, we need to be like, okay, we're done here. Just leave. Don't want the convention.
Because we've been wandering around for an hour and a half at that point. It was awesome. And the nice bit about it, too, is we got to see, okay, so we want to come back to this booth later on. The superhero stuff one had some really nice, like the belt buckles and all of that stuff. And then we got to meet some of the artists ahead of time, some of the people at Artist Alley when they were already set up, and we just, talked about the convention and how excited they were to sell certain art. So it helped us as well with our coverage, because we got to really experience what these artists are going through when they pick up their booth and they start to set up for it, and how excited they are to meet all the fans out there. And the couple that I talked to already, near the end of the convention, they had already paid off their booth by the end of that first day, which is great. So that says that the convention was successful for the artists, which is very important to me personally, because I like to see an independent creator, get the ball rolling with whatever project they have. And if they're having so much success with this one day, then their Saturday is just going to be enormous. So that made me happy. And then, of course, the rest of the booths always end up selling a lot of stuff and always do great. The fans at MegaCon are there. They're ready to spend money, and they're ready to have a good time.
We were ready to spend money.
Yes, we were.
So next we're going to touch up on some of the artists that we met. So much fun. First up, we have Alvin Lee. He's done some art for Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, he was awesome. He's actually working on the commission right now. I'm picking it up tomorrow. I gave him the Harley Quinn blank sketch cover, and he's going to do Harley Quinn in her classic Jester outfit, the best version of Harley Quinn. So I can't wait to see it tomorrow. I'm obviously going to share it on Twitter. Maybe by the time the podcast is up, I will have already shared it. But I really can't wait to see it. He colors them in Copic markers, which are very expensive, but they turn out looking amazing. And he did a Lady Mechanica that I was watching him draw, and it was perfect. And of course he's like, it's okay. And I was like, that's an artist right there for you. Like, just never happy.
Whatever.
He did say, I'm rusty.
I guess. I'm going to start saying that for things now. Like, oh, Kelli, these brownies are amazing. I'll be like, they're alright.
So that was an awesome commission piece. Every year we have to stop by, because they're locals. We met Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner.
Yes.
Of course, the team right now behind Harley Quinn, one of the most successful books for DC at the moment.
And as always, these two were so nice. Amanda is always, oh, how are you guys? I remember seeing you last year. I don't know that you remember seeing us last year, but it makes me feel special.
You're nice for saying that.
So thank you, Amanda. Jimmy's always so much fun. He posed for a picture with us, which was great. Love to support these guys.
The best thing, too, is Amanda always has a line, of course. She's a superstar artist. And Jimmy, you could just always walk right up and just start chatting him up. And he's always in a great mood. I've never seen him pissed off. I've never seen him frustrated. And he's talking to Amanda at the same time. And we just get to tell him, like, hey, we like the con job. We like Harley Quinn. Whatever you end up putting out, we love reviewing on the show. And he's always appreciative of the good words and the help and the encouragement. I especially made it so that I really wanted to give them a compliment on Harley Quinn, because they do tweet about how they sometimes overthink their work on Harley because they're so nervous about getting the character right. It's like, you got to say something nice to them. Like, you're doing fine. Like, this is great. It's obviously selling well. People are liking it. Keep on doing it.
I will say, in meeting them, something I was impressed with, because you got their autographs, their signatures on a couple of your books, and we had to get them CGC graded afterwards. The way that CGC stepped up their witnesses this year was wonderful. I don't know if you remember last year, like, you just had to grab somebody and be like, hey, leave your booth and come help me. But they had actual designated people in different colored shirts where you could walk up and say, hey, I need a witness. I'm in the front of the line right now. And that was wonderful.
It made it so much easier. You're
Absolutely.
Right. And that's actually where I saw a bunch of the subscribers from the shop. It's like, oh, you're getting some books graded or whatever. Like, that's pretty cool. And we're just chatting it up. And also regulars from the comic shop. Everyone's just congregated in that area.
Yeah, this guy was like a total celebrity. We'd be walking around, people would be like, hey, it's Daniel. And I'm like, and I'm his wife.
And Daniel's wife.
And me over here. Hello.
Right next to Alvin Lee, right near Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, of course, there was also George Perez. He was doing a bunch of sketches for donations to the Superhero Initiative. As you know, this is a donation service. It's really a charity where they help artists and writers in the comic book business that may need help with medical bills and aren't working anymore, or maybe aren't getting any work anymore. And, George has always been someone that just spearheads this every single year, and it all goes right back to him. They even had their own booth. So he was doing sketches for donations, which was awesome. The best one being the one I saw from this guy in front of me. It was actually a blank cover sketch. I don't remember the actual book, but it had Deathstroke with his sword out, and it had Deadpool's mask on the sword, and he wrote, "The true death of Deadpool." I thought that was hilarious. Like, if you were the person that got that, you would you'd have to always forever keep it and display it and make copies, take pictures and then hang those pictures up as frames in your house.
Take pictures and then hang pictures and then take pictures of pictures.
Like, it was so cool. I'm like, dude, that is, he was so excited to share it with me, and I didn't even know this guy. He's like, look at this. I'm like,
I'd share that shit with everybody. I'd be look what George Perez did for me.
I'm like, that is an amazing piece, dude. And he's like, yeah, I know, it's awesome. And, he went and he got it graded as well and preserved as it should be. George Perez's art. It was fantastic. We also met Darwin Cook.
Yes, and you did not freak him out this time.
I did not.
But he was a really great guy. You did get a comic signed from him as well. And super nice as always.
Yeah, I got the Detective Comics Darwin Cook variant. That's the one where Batman is asleep with his bloody knuckles all wrapped up, and Alfred's coming up with a blanket, I think, right? It's just Batman's exhausted. It's a beautiful scene.
It is.
And I had to tell Darwin, I'm like, hey, man, that whole month, the U month, it was just obliterated my wallet. And he's like, oh, okay. Like,
I know. It's me. Please.
That's basically what it was. And I'm like, yep, it is you, Darwin. You're awesome.
That's how I'd be, though. If somebody's like, Kelly, you had all these comics and I bought all of them, I'd be like, well, yeah, you did. Come on.
Especially if you're Darwin Cook, you're great. You know you're awesome. I don't think he can improve anymore. Like, he's perfected his style and his characters.
Our final guest that we got to meet, who was my favorite, was Troy Baker.
You know him as the voice of Two-Face in Arkham City, and of course the Joker in Arkham Origins, Booker from Bioshock Infinite, just a wide range of work that he's done. And we actually ended up getting a audio voice recording. I think it was $20 for that one. It's like, yeah, here's $20, do the voice recording, and we're gonna play it now.
Hello, kiddies. Your old pal here, the Joker, here to tell you about the reasons I'm broke. Podcast. I have plenty of money. Harley, get back in here.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's actually the Joker.
It was so amazing.
The Joker from Arkham Origins. The Joker just doing a thing for us. Not Mark Hamill. And no, it was great.
It was
awesome.
Absolutely. If Mark has to go away, I'm glad it's Troy.
Oh yeah, we've said this a number of times. Yes. That is the one replacement. If you have to replace Mark Hamill, I don't care how old Mark gets. I don't care how old sounding his Joker gets. Keep at it. But then, if you can't, if he has an off there, he supposedly retires, I think Mark's going to come back.
Whatever.
Then use Troy Baker. Like, that is the closest thing to the Mark Hamill Joker. And it does need to be the Mark Hamill Joker, because that is the Joker that we chose to gravitate towards, because of Batman the Animated Series. So when people say he's trying too hard to sound like Mark Hamill's Joker, it's like, well, yeah, you have to try to sound like the Joker. Like, yeah, I understand trying to make your own interpretation, like we had in Under the Red Hood. But when someone nails it so much, like Troy Baker, you have to admire it. Like that, if you were to show that clip to just anyone, you'd think, oh, that's actually Mark Hamill. No, it's Troy Baker, and it's so spot on.
Can I say why I like him even more, though? You know why I like him even more. Because his wife and or girlfriend, whoever was there with him, is my hair twin.
She was. That's the first thing she pointed out.
Magical. We walk up and she goes, hey, are you a natural redhead? And I looked at her and I said, yeah. Are you? And she goes, yeah. And then we compared hair and it was the same color. You all don't understand what a big... Like, I will never find another person ever in my lifetime who has the same color hair as me.
And you talked about how your hair changes colors at the same time of year.
Nobody understands that. It was wonderful.
And she even turned to Troy and she's like, hey, look at the hair color. And he's like, oh my God, your hair color. He was making fun of both of you.
Yeah, he was. But then at the end he said that my hair was nice. And then he had to turn to her and be like, oh, well, yours is nice too.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So huge thanks to Troy Baker, of course. He had, the line was pretty long, but it went by quick. So all the fans were very happy, very excited to meet him. We did have cancellations this year at MegaCon. Like there is every year. There's always going to be someone. Ron Perlman dipped out again, unfortunately.
He's like, peace.
Yeah, my sister was very excited to meet Deathstroke from Teen Titans, and he wasn't there again this year. So maybe next year, we'll see.
I will say, though, I heard that Stan Lee showed up a day early.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
He wanted to be able to... Or he just forgot the date. I don't know. He wanted to be able to fit in more fans and
make
give
more money.
Yes, and give a better experience. So he's showing up. I guess this is Saturday. So he showed up today instead of only tomorrow.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And also, one of the subscribers at the shop, and this is a shout out to Mark because I know he's listening. He went and he got his Stan Lee signatures. He got some really cool books. Actually, we were like, I was out at his place and we were picking out some of the books. Like, oh, this one would be good and this one wouldn't. So he showed me all those Stan Lee pictures and they look amazing. Like all the books are signed. He's got some really good pics in there. And tomorrow I'm going to obviously talk to him and ask him about how that all went. But also, you know, we kind of helped each other out with the signatures. Like, hey, Mark, you know, I was in the Amanda Conner line and he needed like a couple book signs. It's like, yeah, just give me the books. I'll get them signed as well for you. Not a problem. And awesome guy. He actually gifted us a Harley Quinn and a Poison Ivy bobblehead signed by Amanda and Jimmy.
Yes, they're absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, the company that makes the Nerd Up Media t-shirts, which you can get at nerdupmedia.com/shop, that is the Lazy Nerds Designs, not to be confused with Lazy Gaming Guys, who is a show here on the Nerd Up Media Network, but we're all family, so confuse us all you want. It's as long as it's not a different network. And they had their own booth also, and Aaron from Lazy Nerds Designs was actually doing really well, which I'm really happy for because it does turn out great shirts. I know a number of you brokettes out there have bought multiple shirts for some of you, and they do turn out well. We have the pink ones available now. That is the latest color due to popular demand. This is the one that, popular request, I should say. And they turned out awesome. It's got the white Nerd Up Media logo in pink. What other colors do we have in the shop?
We also have blue, gray, black, and red.
In various sizes for men and women. That's at nerdupmedia.com/shop.
For just a donation of $16.99, you get the t-shirt and it includes shipping. And it's mailed with love.
Absolutely it is. More coverage to MegaCon coming next week based on what I end up doing tomorrow. Cannot wait. So excited. Huge thanks to MegaCon again for allowing us to press badges.
I have to work.
I'll celebrate twice as hard. I'll enjoy it.
Please do.
Extra much.
Please do. I'll be at work going, man, I could be at MegaCon.
The whole time, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. Anytime everyone's like, Kelly, how you doing today? I could be at MegaCon. We also want to highlight Omni Expo. This is the convention where we will have our panel. It's coming up very soon as well. This is May 22nd through the 24th.
Yeah, the panel we're going to be at is going to be called Podcasting 101 with Nerd Up Media. You join the Nerd Up Media crew as we go through how you can get started on a podcast or a Let's Play channel. We'll share what has worked for us, our experiences, and how social media can help you grow your fan base. We will also have a Q&A to discuss general comic book and video game news.
This convention will be held at the Rosen Center Hotel in Orlando, Florida.
Once again, that's May 22nd to the 24th. We'll remind you as we get closer to there. So 2 conventions we're going to cover next week. The rest of MegaCon, and of course, Omni Expo.
And right before we jump into our comics, we want to remind you of the Audible trial offer.
As part of our partnership with Audible, you can get a free audiobook with your trial when you sign up only at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
All of our brokettes will get a free audiobook download of their choice along with a 30-day free trial. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
All right, comics.
Comics!
I thought it would be a cheaper week because Convergence has officially started.
And life went, nah, bitch.
Well, it just so happens that the Convergence DC books that we are getting, the few ones, happen to land on this week. So, on top of that, we had a ton of indie books.
Next week will be cheaper.
Theoretically.
So our first indie book is Adventure Time, Marceline Gone Adrift, number 4. This is written by Meredith Gran with art by Carrie Patish.
They've been skating around the fact that Marceline and Bubblegum are a couple for a while. This is the book that actually confirms their relationship solid. Like, this is actually, okay, you don't have to read more into what they're actually saying, what the writers are saying. They're like, no, they're a couple. They're obviously broken up in some form. They're not talking to each other. They're upset. And we'll probably learn more about it in the last 2 issues because there's only 6 in this miniseries. But because of that, they actually moved this forward. I like this book way more than number 3, the one from last month. It moved the action forward at a much quicker pace while still exploring the relationship between Bubblegum and Marceline.
Right. We do get a few flashbacks, like you're saying, and that's where they do actually confirm, like, yeah, they were together, but then something happened and now they're not anymore. So I think by the end of this, I don't want to say that they'll be back together, because we've seen a lot of books where they've gone into the future and they weren't really a couple. But I think they will reconcile and at least be friends again. One thing I really liked about this is we got to see new creatures that are really, really interesting, because Marceline obviously can't play her guitar in space because there's no air, so there's no sound. But they find a way to work her still playing her guitar in there really well and made it something gorgeous, which I really, really appreciated from this book.
Yeah, if you like Adventure Time at all, they've been knocking it out with these miniseries. They're all pretty good. This one especially, because we do like the two characters so much. You even have a little bit of Finn action kind of sprinkled in throughout them.
Doing, like, nonsense. I'm like, Finn, stop eating dirt or whatever he was doing.
So we did enjoy it. That's Marceline Gone Adrift, number 4. Next we have Bee and Puppy Cat, number 8. It is kind of late, actually. It should have been out about half a month ago. Writing and art by T. Zisk, David Calderon, Liz Fleming, Coleman Engel, and Reimena Yi.
I love this book. I always love this book. It's comprised of a bunch of mini stories, and as they've all been. Maybe we had one or two.
Composed of. The only reason I interrupt you there is because I said comprised a little tweet. There's actually an account dedicated. There's a guy that finds tweets that say comprised of, and he corrects them on. And they said, no, you mean composed of.
That's awesome.
And then he'll link to the Wikipedia article that proves that he's right.
Good for him. I'd do the same shit.
Yeah, if you have the time, I guess. But I'm like, okay, fine, composed of forever.
Well, I'm sorry. This book is composed of mini stories, all centered around Bee and Puppy Cat and just kind of their everyday life and them falling more in love.
Possibly, I guess.
I'm pretty sure
it's not as heavy as the show is.
No.
And that's fine. It's like a nice companion to the show. Or even if you just like the cartoon and you want something to hold you over until the next episode, it does its own job. It stands on its own, which is important. And they actually introduced the character from the newer episodes of Bee and Puppy Cat. I think it's their landlord.
Yeah.
He actually makes his appearance in this.
He's so cool.
And I was really happy about that.
And Deckard was in here too. You like Deckard.
I don't like Deckard.
Can I say, okay, small spoilers. So in one of the stories, Bee is having cramps. That's just the easiest way to put it. And it opens up with Puppy Cat like, hey, you need to get out of bed. And she's laying there going, no, I don't want to live anymore. Not even mentioning that she has cramps. And you know what I thought? Like that first panel, I said, she's got cramps. I knew. We had that woman bond. That was my favorite story out of all this.
Whereas me, I'm like, her tummy hurts. That's weird.
No, me, I'm like, damn, I feel for you, Bee. We're here. Sisterly bond. And then at the end, she was eating chocolate. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what Puppy Cat should have done. Just get her chocolate. Everything would have been fine. Our next book is Bravest Warriors, number 31. This is written by Kate Leth and Pranas T. Nijokaitis. Yes. With art by Ian McGinty and Pranas Nijokaitis. And the colorist is Lisa Moore.
This issue sold out within the first week of release.
Because it's got evil Puppy Cat.
It's got
evil
Catbug.
Catbug. That other animal thing. Any
Bravest Warriors comic with Catbug on the cover is going to sell better than the others. And that's because this is a story that mainly focuses on Danny, but it does have the Catbug's main villain as the Bugcat. Yeah, is that his name? Bugcat?
Yeah, it's Catbug and Bugcat.
That's the guy that's actually at the camp and he's causing trouble. And if you read any of the previous issues, you know that his trouble is really not that big a deal at all. It's just him being adorable and trying to kill Catbug.
You did it too. So many animals.
So aside from that, I think if you learn more from Danny, cool. Like if you like that character, there's not too much Catbug in this.
No, not really. I think we're going to see a lot of Catbug and Bugcat in the next few issues because I feel like a big battle's about to start. Overall, it's just real adorable. I'm like, silly Bugcat, what are you doing?
Yeah, I just feel like they've stretched this camp story on a little bit too long. I like the Adventure Time and the Bee and Puppy Cats and the Bravest Warriors in which they keep it a little more concise. Because at the end of the day, this is a book aimed at younger readers.
Correct.
And they can't always make it to the comic book shop to pick up the book.
And they're not going to remember what happened last month.
Right.
I don't remember sometimes.
So it's always nicer when they have shorter stories, maybe 2 issues long. Sometimes they'll have a one-shot story, which is always what I like, because easy for me to sell to a parent or a customer. It's like, you don't have to worry about getting 1 through 75. Get number 76. You'll be fine. The story's right there. It begins and ends there. And that's what I wish Bravest Warriors did more of, and unfortunately they're not. And that's why someone like me is kind of over this camp story at this point.
Right.
And it looks like we are going to get at least one more out of it, so I'm kind of ready for the next arc to begin.
I'm with you. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Next is what would have been your pick of the week if the obvious hadn't released this week.
I'm going to go to sleep over here.
And that is Descender number 2, written by Jeff Lemire and art by Dustin Nguyen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I sung it. I did it.
Thank you. You're just like Vegeta. You do what needs to be done.
I do.
Yes, Descender, as you said, would have been my pick of the week. Wonderful story, beautiful art. If you guys aren't picking this up, please do. People always say that we need more original stories and less Batman. And here it is. Fantastic story.
And it's going to be a movie, so even for the speculators out there.
Yep, jump on it.
Because it's a good story. Although they probably won't read it, they'll just hang on to it. Keep it unread.
But we get an introduction of a wonderful, lovable new character. I fell in love with him. I don't know about you. Like, even though he's a fucking murderer. Very sweet. We get to see our character's background, which is just... It's so sad.
It was a little sad. I wouldn't go that far. I didn't feel like... It should have been way more emotional than it was. I felt like, and I didn't get that. I didn't connect emotionally that much to it. Like, I understand and I felt sympathy for everyone involved in the main character's life, but I was at the end. It should have been like a just this, fucking punch to the heart, and I didn't get that. I don't know if it was just me, but I did not tear up. I didn't get that sad.
I guess I almost teared up, but I wasn't quite there. I understand what you're saying. I still thought it was very emotional. I feel like if we could have drawn it out a bit longer and had 1 or 2 more flashbacks, then yeah, we would have been there. But there was a lot going on because you're jumping between feeling sympathy and now we're in the present and you're scared and you're worried, and it was a roller coaster.
That it was. Still loving the series. Love Dustin Nguyen, and Jeff, when he's on it.
Our next book is Dan's Pick of the Week. It's Saga number 27. This is written by Brian K. Vaughan with art by Fiona Staples.
It is actually my pick of the week.
Is it really your pick of the week? Ah!
So we agree on pick of the week.
Yes, we do.
I don't need to hear you say it. I know it's your pick of the week.
Woo! Is it really your pick of the week?
It really is.
I'm so happy. You've finally seen the light.
Well, it was a really good issue. Best issue we had this week.
Every issue is a good issue.
Yeah, they're all good.
Every issue for 27 issues. That's over 2 years. Has been amazing.
And this was no exception. It was a really, really good issue. Best one this week. It gives you what Marco is built upon based on his past experience. So this is all a let's get to know Marco even better than we already do. Like, we know present Marco just fine. But here's the shit that he went through as a child and later on as an early adult, and maybe even a year ago, this other stuff happened to him. These are why he's insecure today. And this is why, he's hurt by his past and remembering what he's done. So that, to me, I connected very personally to this character and to his past. And that's exactly why it's my pick of the week. I don't know if I didn't have similar experiences. Yes, I was out in space and I was blowing people up. If I didn't have similar experiences to Marco, I don't know if I would have connected quite as much to the characters. I guess I could ask you because...
You can't... I'm biased. You can't ask me. Because
you love Saga.
I love Saga. I love this series so much. I love the story and the characters. And this opened up and it was so fucked up. And I was like, what's happening? But I loved it. And, they took this crazy acid trip experience that happened to this character and made it something wonderful. Like, what other book can you say, yeah, we took an acid trip and it was great? Certainly not Morrison stuff.
No, of course not.
I'm just saying.
And we know there's a lot of Morrison fans out there, and we're not 2 of them.
We're not with you.
But this is something I think we can agree is better than
Well, of course.
Multiversity.
Like,
can we all agree
a lot
Saga's
of
better than
things.
Multiversity?
Yeah, Saga's better than a lot of things.
We'll agree
And
to
a lot
this.
of things are better than Multiversity, so look at that.
So that was our pick of the week. Saga
Yes.
number 27. All the trades are out. Check it out. Catch up.
I'm so happy that you liked it, though.
And with agreements come ends. The final issue of Teen Dog, and that is number 8. Written and drawn by Jake Lawrence.
This was just a perfect ending. Everybody was happy. I heard that song, Don't You Forget About Me, as it all ended.
Yeah, it captures the feeling of summer when you're in high school and it's the final week, the final day of school. And it's just all your friends, or you and your friends are planning what you're going to do for the summer, what you're going to do that day after school to celebrate.
And then you got that dick teacher who's like, I know y'all don't want to do anything, and I don't have anything left, but we're going to sit here. I was like, good for him.
Always that one teacher, every single time. And it's just, I think for me, it took me back to those high school days,
Yep.
and that's why I was like, yes, this is great.
You're
like,
all right, Teen Dog.
love Teen Dog. We already liked Teen Dog from the very beginning, and every single issue that we bought, we kept hoping like, hey, Teen Dog's actually going to be an ongoing now, something like what they did with Lumberjanes. Unfortunately, that's not the case, even though I tweet Jake Lawrence all the time, like, so is this becoming an ongoing or what? What's going on? Are we going to make a show out of this at least? Or we get more Teen Dog in the future, or cartoon, more comics, a trade paperback, some way for Teen Dog to continue. But it looks like it's not happening. It looks like he is done with the story. And I think with number 8, even though they did say they do have another year of school left or whatever, I still think it ends here and it's fine. If we never get another issue of Teen Dog, then so be it. This was a nice, complete, fun story, and I'll pick up the trade when it comes out because I do want to have it there on my shelf to read anytime I want and not have to dig up the issues. And it was fun. I really like Teen Dog.
I agree. Like you said, I feel like even from the very beginning of the series, you were reminded of high school. You were reminded of the carefree days. And then you had the awesome moments where Teen Dog's late to class and let's jump in my locker and go through a portal in space and just crazy stuff. But he made it all seem like it was absolutely normal and natural, even though even in his world it wasn't. And we heard Mitch Hedberg the whole time. And anything to get more Mitch Hedberg. So we will miss you, Teen Dog. We won't forget about you. And that will actually do it for our indie books this week. We can now move into our Marvel. First up, we have Howard the Duck number 2. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Joe Quinones, and the colorist is Rico Renzi.
This is one of the 2 Marvel books that we're reviewing this week. We were pleasantly surprised by the first issue.
Yes.
We love Chip Zdarsky from Sex Criminals, and you get some of that humor back in Howard the Duck. But this issue felt like he got way more comfortable with the characters and the world and kind of really pushing it all, because he breaks the fourth wall all the time by talking to us and letting us know, like, I don't really know how long it took them to get from this planet to here, and just all this other funny stuff where they're like, well, I was never briefed on the Marvel history of this, so I guess it's this now. And so that, on top of like the entertaining story of Howard the Duck interacting with the Guardians of the Galaxy, it made it a really enjoyable read.
It was a fun book. And that's wonderful for me, because usually all the lighthearted fun books I don't enjoy as much because there isn't as much of a story. But I feel like we still had a good balance of story and hilarious characters and just an enjoyable ride. And, you know, if they can make the movie like this, is great.
If they make a movie.
If they make a movie, yes.
That's one thing some customers were saying, like, oh, Howard the Duck was at the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so there's going to be a movie now, right? No, it's just a fucking end credits scene.
Movie.
I don't know about that.
But it would be so much fun. Spider-Man cracked me up in this too.
Yeah. Howard the Duck fills the void that She-Hulk left, and it's doing really well because not only is it covering some of that investigative action that we had in She-Hulk, but it's also way funnier than She-Hulk wasn't meant to be like a comedic book.
Right.
But this one's kind of doing more, and you're getting more for your dollar. So far, I think I might like this more than She-Hulk. But it's only the second issue. We'll give it a couple more before we really decide, yeah, this was better than She-Hulk. Next is Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man number 12, written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by David Marquez, colors by Justin Ponsor.
This is the end.
Oh yeah, I guess this is another final issue, isn't it?
Yes.
Final one before Secret Wars, not Convergence.
Convergence Wars, Secret.
The cover itself, I tweeted this months ago to Chip Kid. It's got the Miles Morales, half his face is all whited out, very similar to the Convergence variants. And I tweeted it to Chip Kid when they first solicited the book, and I was like, hey, I didn't know you did a Miles Morales cover variant, something like that, and he never responded to it. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think he found it that funny.
This, you know what this cover looks like? Like in the old coloring books where they say, color the other side of his face, and you have to draw on it. But yes, this is the final issue before we have not Convergence.
Right.
And I think it wrapped up very well. It didn't feel like, oh, we need to end this because it's over. It still told the story it wanted to tell.
Took its time.
Miles got his to his girlfriend, like, fuck you, bitch. Mm-hmm. Fucked up my life. And she's like, I didn't mean to. And he's like, and that was it. Good for him.
I cannot wait for this book to come back after Secret Wars. We know it is because Brian Michael Bendis is tweeting about, like, oh, writing Miles Morales and all that stuff. So, yeah, we'll get... I don't know what they'll title it. Maybe it'll stay continued as Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm not sure. But I can't wait to see Miles return to Secret Wars. We're not getting... I don't think any of the Secret Wars books. So I don't know if we're going to have any Miles action with it for the next couple of months. But you better bet I'm going to sign up and subscribe to that issue once they do solicit it.
It's been wonderful the whole way through. And even this last arc was great. We learned a lot about his dad. We learned a lot about Miles. And if they keep up with that, they've already created a great character, and to see more of that's what really makes a comic wonderful. Next, we can move into the first of our 3 DC comic books this week. First up is Convergence, number 1 of 8. This is written by Scott Lobdell and Jeff King, with art by Carlo Pagulayan, and the colorist is Peter Sagerward. Sagerward. You do this to me on purpose. I think you just make up names.
I do not. So Convergence number 1 has... number 0 had a different feel than number 1 did, so I was kind of thrown off a little bit by this first issue. But
they didn't even feel like the same book. Like, I wouldn't have known that it was the same book until you told me. Mm-hmm.
And I do still appreciate number 0. I did like that issue from last week quite a bit, because it set up this character, this version of Brainiac. So when I see him in issue number 1, I'm like, oh, it's a glorified tournament, but I know that Brainiac isn't exactly thrilled to be doing this, and it's not what he would want to do.
It's just what he feels he needs to do.
Right, and this first issue is just all set up, and that's fine. That's what, the big event is. We still have, 7 more of these guys? It's a weekly book, and it does touch up on some of people's favorite characters. Earth 2 characters, Injustice characters, regular New 52.
Oh yeah, you see all of them.
Grayson, that kind of thing. It's all here. And all the matchups, I guess if you call them, are put together in this issue. So do read Convergence before you read the tie-in issues, which we're going to review another one of next. Overall, I'm liking what they're doing. I like this tournament, this versions, all these different Supermans fighting different versions. I want to see the Batmans interact with different Batmans. So I think that's where we're going to get the good stuff out of this entire arc. Obviously, this is just something while they move their offices. The good stuff will come in June when we have those 24 brand new titles. I can't wait to dig into those. Way too many we signed up for, but obviously they're not all going to be winners.
Reasons we're broke.
What'd you think of the first issue?
I enjoyed it. I feel in some parts I was a little lost when we're switching between characters. But like you said, it was a great setup. I do love the idea of getting to see all these different versions of everybody that we've seen before. And that's good for me, who didn't start reading comics until the New 52. I didn't really start reading until the New 52. Because now I get to learn so much about all the history. So it's really smart because it brings in the old readers and the new readers and catches the new readers up on old things, and now they might want to go back and, like, Zod's Superman. I mean, it's not really Zod, but like Zod's kid Superman. I want to go back and read more about him because I thought he was really cool, and I had never heard of or seen anything like that before.
Do you like the last couple pages where they still have this, they did with number 0, and it looks like it's going to be an ongoing thing, but they're like, this character that you saw here is from this series and this era. Do you find that helpful?
I do. I think that's so smart because I wouldn't even know. I'd go to Google to try and look this stuff up, but there it is right on the last page, and you say, okay, cool, this is where I can start from, and go into your comic book shop and say this is what I need, or this trait is what I need, so that I can learn more about it.
Next DC book is Convergence, Harley Quinn #1, written by Steve Pugh, art by Phil Winslade, and colors by Chris Chuckry.
I love this just for the fact that we get the sirens again.
We do, yes. I had a customer say, why don't they call us Convergence Gotham City Sirens? And I'm like, well, which one's more marketable? Harley Quinn or Gotham City Sirens?
Truth.
But this is, it really should have been, because that's what the story's about, but obviously it's Harley Quinn, it's all about her. She's a really hot character right now. And you do get the classic Jester outfit, Harley Quinn.
Yes.
We were really thrilled because when the New 52 first started, we're like, what the fuck is that? And, we were never happy with it. Amanda Conner tweaked it and made it into something, her own, and that's fun too. And kind of took away the bleached skin in a way by having her put on makeup and be a regular psychiatrist, which is great. But this is the Harley Quinn, not necessarily animated series Harley Quinn, not really the Gotham City Sirens Harley Quinn. And I think that's where the problem is in this. I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, I love, that the hyenas are back. I love that the regular outfit is back. And I love that the sirens are back. But for some reason, it doesn't quite feel like Harley Quinn. It's not Paul Dini's Harley Quinn, which is what they actually are building this off of. That's what the sirens are based on, his writings.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. I enjoyed in this book that we got to see, okay, she's been away from the Joker for X amount of time. So for the most part, she's sane again, which is something that's very key to Harley, and I'm glad that they touched up on that. But even when she was falling back into insanity, there was still something just a little bit off about her. And I don't know if it's because she was by herself and with this new guy rather than with her sirens or a team that she could boss around or doing her typical Harley things. But as always, it was just wonderful to see the sirens together again.
Oh yeah, of course, and we'll pay money to see that. And
yeah.
We'll get one more issue of that when she fights Captain Carrot, as it was in the solicits.
Okay.
Can't wait. I'm excited.
And our final book this week is Convergence, Nightwing, and Oracle. This is written by Gail Simone with art by Jan Drusema, and the colorist is Wes Dzioba.
This actually would have been my pick of the week if it weren't for Saga. I really, 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 really like this comic. Really adore this book. Obviously, we're huge on Gail Simone. This feels different than the rest of the Convergence. Like, we've only read a couple at this point, but whenever someone, an author, an artist, whoever, does something more with just a tie-in, like she did with the Batgirl annual that tied into the Court of Owls, and we had Strix come out of it, which we absolutely love. She did it again with Nightwing and Oracle. This is probably the last time we're going to see her write for Barbara Gordon in probably a couple of years. And this is something she's also mentioned on Twitter. But she does it well here. I don't care about Robin. That's who it is. It's not Nightwing. It's Robin. He'll forever be Robin. I don't care about the relationship, but she made me care about them. And I know, and also Robin was whiny as hell. So I'm like, she really captured Robin.
Robin's always whiny as hell.
This is exactly what Dick Grayson is like. So that's what I like. What do you think about the love story here?
Oh man, I thought it was great because it was more than just Nightwing and Oracle. It was Nightwing and Starfire.
Oh yeah,
and those are all my favorite people. I love that she tied that in, but the thing that I liked more than any of that is we see all these Convergence stories and the people are like, yeah, we're chilling in the dome, it's cool, whatevs. But she pointed out that some people are going fucking crazy in this dome. Like, the idea that they're trapped is driving them insane, and she explores that darker part of it, which was really, really cool because it made you feel like one of those people rather than just, oh, yep, these characters are over here. I actually became a part of Nightwing and Oracle's Gotham.
So as far as the Convergence books, yeah, we're not getting many of them, but the Nightwing and Oracle one is clearly my favorite one so far.
Yeah, mine as well.
If you're hesitant on picking up any of the tie-ins, rest assured that Nightwing and Oracle #1 is a safe bet. And then we'll do it for our comic book reviews and the podcast this week. Both our picks of the weeks were Saga number 27.
Woo! Because Dan has seen the light.
My pass of the week was Bravest Warriors number 31.
If I had to pass, that would be mine as well. And The World is Ending, because we agreed 100%.
Yeah, we agreed on both the things again, yep. We do want to thank all the Brokettes out there, new listeners and old. If you went to MegaCon, let us know about your experience on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke, Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. You can also find the link to that and the rest of our shows on the Nerd Up Media Network at nerdupmedia.com.
Also, if you head over to nerdupmedia.com/shop, You can pick up a Nerd Up Media shirt. Comes in a variety of different colors as well as men's and women's sizes.
That's right. Don't forget to leave us a review, as we mentioned earlier. Huge thanks again to MegaCon, Omni Expo, and of course Audible. All the Brokettes out there for tuning in, for listening, for interacting with us on Twitter. You put up with our drunken tweets sometimes.
Me dancing as Daredevil with some bananas. They were blind bananas, though.
Oh, yeah. They were blind, too. Absolutely. So thank you so much for the follows, the likes, the reviews. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
We'll see you next week.